The Soul Society.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Turntables activated.
The most versatile hip-hop radio station in the world.
You can talk about us, but you can't talk without us. Phenomenal radio. We are what radio should be. You could listen to one of those other stations, but what would your friends think?
Holy sh**, where'd you find this?
You're locked into the #1 online radio station.
Here we go! It's not that your radio sounds strange. You just found a station that plays what you like.
Phenomenal radio.
Radio just got a lot more fun. Thanks for listening.
We are what radio should be.
Phenomenal Radio, PhenomRadio.com, PhenomRadio.io, the most versatile hip-hop station in the world, where we take the power of the industry and place it in the hands of the independent. And we try to do this every time we get the opportunity to do this. 15 years plus strong, in here with some phenomenal brothers and a special guest. I am your brother at Slate Stone Music Anywhere Online. Just hashtag 1000 Network, 1000 Network on any of your social media platforms, and you'll find us and just see what we're building. I'm going to throw it over to DJ Despair. He's going to throw it over to Dick James, and he's going to introduce our guest after that. Yo, DJ Despair.
Yo, first and foremost, Happy New Year, everybody, and moving into a new era. DJ Despair, CEO of Street Killers Entertainment, on Rough Riders, Nerve DJs. We could go, if you don't know me, go check the list, go on my social media, find out who I am. We're in the industry plugs. We promote, we support, we're radio, we're marketing, we're everything. Shout out to Dick James. Let's move forward.
What's good? Shout out to everybody that took a moment of their time to sign in with us, because you could have been somewhere else doing whatever you choose, but you decided to spend a moment of intimacy with us on January 3rd. We started out this time, January 5th, 2025, and here we are a year later. So shout out to my colleagues, DJ Despair, Slate Stone Music. We made it, every week, consistently for the entire year. It feels good to be back off a break. And for those of you who are checking in and don't know who I am, I'm Timo James. I'm co-owner to KPTX Digital Broadcasters, Phenom Radio, the most diverse radio station on the planet. I'm also founder and CEO of the Industry Plug magazine, which is a physical and a print urban magazine dedicated to businesses, companies, labels across the country. All right. And today we have the Vainglorious. Yeah, you hear that laugh, infamous. Because everything we're about to say today is factual. We're not expressing opinions because we don't care about opinions unless we ask or we're asked about them. Everybody's got opinions. And in these type of environments, everybody's opinion, it just doesn't have a place. It doesn't hold value. When you're a mover and or a shaker, then this is the type of conversation that we're about to engage in, because from my perspective, since 2002, Chuck T's name has rung bells in the Carolinas, and that's North and South. Then that's 23, 24 years.
Easy.
And I bear witness to that. I lived in the Carolinas for 23, 24 years, which means I was a young soldier, a young jit when I came. And I was a starving artist. I became a promoter, a booking agent, an event planner, and all the things that deal with the entertainment business during my tenure in the Carolinas. The Carolinas is where I became a man. I was a young boy, a soldier. The Carolinas was so beautiful, and it was so reminiscent of where I'm originally from, which is Mississippi, that it gave me a spiritual feeling. Soon as I graduated and I touched down, some soldiers, yeah, they were National Guard Reserve soldiers, but they were students and they were residential of Columbia, Charleston, Myrtle Beach, Greenville, a few different places in South Carolina. And I just so happened to be in the lobby. They were there during the graduation. And I asked a few questions, and one thing led to another. And they took a young soldier to Benedict College, which was right across the street from Allen University, which was 2 or 3 blocks up the street from Columbia College, which was about 3 or 4 blocks away from Columbia Junior College. Basically, what I'm saying is I had never seen a collegiate or universal structure on that level until I got to Columbia, South Carolina. And then a block and a half was University of South Carolina. It blew my mind. All these different things that I was able to learn and still be a soldier and apply myself to a starving artist in the industry. The whole time, Charleston had its own identity and it had its own movement going on. And what I learned is after a period of time, Charleston was the original capital of the Carolinas. And then it became Columbia. And I had probably been living there about 10, 15 years before I learned that. So still in different places in these books or historian books, Charleston is still known or is still believed to be the capital of South Carolina, when it is in fact now Columbia, Fort Jackson, South Carolina. And it is all due to war. So King Chuck is what I like to call him, because he's from the original Jerusalem, Charlestown, otherwise known today as Charleston. And if you're talking about that historical place alone, you can't talk about it musically, business, marketing, promotion, any of those things. And Chuck T name is not increment within that topic, discussion, or whatever applies. So I took the liberty myself, because that's what it is. And then nobody can agree to disagree or disagree to agree, because it doesn't require that. I know this. I have earned whatever reputation I have, and he is the king, official king, originally of mixtapes, not just in the Carolinas, but period. Without being in New York, California, or Miami, the major hubs where all the major labels and film industry machines and all of that. This man right here, along with my brother Arnold Taylor, and a few other key mark people, AJ Savage, DJ Prince Ice, DJ B Lord, DJ Frosty. Rest in peace to DJ Blaze. Shout out to DJ Cleve, DJ Pay Me, and now, even though after all these years, DJ Dirty. All of these brothers have a name because they built their names, man. And I'm talking 25 plus years for some of them. But Chuck has been an entity alone, whether he's paired up with anyone else or not, man. So shout out to you. Thank you for coming on here with your brothers.
Appreciate it. Man, look, thank you. I appreciate y'all having me on. I appreciate y'all kicking off the new year with me. And man, that was an amazing intro, Dick James. I appreciate you, man, 1,000%.
Absolutely, bro. Absolutely. Let's go.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Again, salute to DJ Chuck T for tapping in with us, top of 2026. DJ Chuck T, I've heard your name ever since I began this radio journey and whatnot, from mixtapes and everything out of Texas, West Texas. And the first question is, what was the beginning of DJ Chuck T in music at all? And how did you take that path and direction to where you are right now? If you can share a little bit about it.
Man, so look, technically my my start in just music in general was singing in the church choir. My mama was the choir director, and she used to make us sing in the choir, me and my siblings. So that was literally my introduction. But as far as just me gravitating into the music industry and doing music myself, all of that started from me rapping. So I used to be a part of a rap label, which also was a group as well. We were called PCP, Port City Productions, because naturally we were from Charleston. Charleston is the port city. And as you can see throughout my career, anything that I've ever done has had Charleston or Chucktown incorporated into it. So when I started rapping, to be honest with you, you know, my rap style wasn't popular at the time. This was 99, 2000. We all know what was happening in the 99, 2000. It was all about bling, bling. It was all about glitz and glamour. You know, you had Cash Money over here throwing money at the camera, you know, driving around and anything exotic you could think of. You had Puff Daddy and them on the East Coast. They was doing all that shit. You had Death Row and them over there on the West Coast. They was going crazy. You had Slip and Slide down there in Florida, Slip and Slide and Big Baller Records and Luke and all them. Everything was extravagant. Everything was about half-naked women, and everything was about money. You know what I'm saying? Having an excess of it. My rap style was about the struggle because that's what I was going through in life. You know, and also back then, you know, you had to be authentic with what you were saying. So I couldn't rap about things that I didn't have. You know, back then, it was all about reality with your music. And none of that was my reality. So I felt like my rap style just wasn't popular. It wasn't going to get the traction that it deserved. It wasn't going to get the attention that it needed. So I switched up and I said, you know what? Rapping ain't for me because I'm not about to lie for the sake of having fans like everybody else was doing and is doing, you know, to this day. So I said to myself, what is it that I want to do in this music industry other than rap? You know, that would still fulfill my love for music. So I tried my hand at managing, production, running a studio, running a label, marketing and promo, things of that nature. And I ended up getting a job at a radio station, but it wasn't as a personality. It was in the sales department. So once I got the job at the radio station, that was like my introduction into DJing, into seeing how the music industry works, the real industry. And then from there, I got a job at a record store down in Charleston, South Carolina called Cat's Music. There used to be 5 of them. And now they only have one, which is Monster Music. It's still around. But working in the radio station and then working at the record store is what gave me my background in the business of music and in the marketing and promotion of music and how all that works on the back end. You know, for me rapping, I have my experience on the creation side and on the creative side, but on the business side, working at a radio station and working at a music store is what laid the foundation for where I am right now in my career. And just being at the radio station and watching the inner workings and watching, you know, the DJs interact with the hosts and the hosts interact, you know, with the music directors and the program directors and the general managers, you know, that put me in a position to actually be on the air. I started off in production, making the commercials. Then I went over to promotions. And then from promotions, I went into being on the air by accident. You know, and then from there, that's when I realized that the only people who had control over what was played on the radio was the music director and the program director, and then the actual DJs, the mixers, the people who knew how to cut, scratch, mix, blend records, all that good stuff. They were the only ones who could change that playlist, you know, and actually break records. And for me being an artist at one point in time, and I still feel like I'm an artist at heart, you know, I went in and I bought me some turntables and I taught myself how to DJ. From there, mixtapes, in my opinion, were the #1 way of breaking records back in those days. And being that, like I said, I was still an artist at heart. I still knew what artists needed. I knew what the market needed as far as the artistry goes, I started doing mixtapes, not just to break new music, but to break artists from the Carolinas. And man, my first mixtapes flew off the shelves. I always had immense success with the mixtapes. I did mixtapes up until probably about maybe 2018 is when I dropped my last like official down south slanging mixtape. And man, when I tell you my career has been immense. I mean, we're talking about 44, 45 awards for DJing. Most of those are for making mixtapes, traveling across the country. At the height of my mixtape career, I was doing roughly about 7,000 to 8,000 CDs a month. I was shipping off to 30 different states, 3 different countries. You mentioned earlier that you're from Texas. Texas was the market that embraced me. Trey the Truth, Lil Kiki, Michael Watts and Swisher House, OG Ron C, who was a part of the Swisher House when I first met him. And then he branched off and started with the Wrecking Yard. Then I moved up into the Dallas area. I started fucking around with Big Tuck and Tum Tum and DSR, the Dirty South Riders. Man, those were the days. And Texas really put me on the map. Big shout out to Trey the Truth, ABN. Big shout out to Rap A Lot Records. Shout out to my man Alvin and Omar over there at Rap A Lot Records. They still in the game, still pushing. And those people, and not just those people, but the Texas market in general. They really, really showed me love being a young nigga from South Carolina who wasn't a part of no major label, wasn't a part of no major crew, wasn't a part of a major movement, was really out here just doing it on his own, swinging for the fences on his own. They really, really embraced me and basically made Houston my second home. You know what I'm saying? And then I tapped in with my man, Wiz Hoffa from the Noise Mob DJs based in New York. And they were the first DJ crew to really, really like put me in position to take my mixtapes to a whole nother level and put me in that New York mixtape market. Cause that New York mixtape market was the major leagues. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And from there, man, I went on to win a Justo Award for best new mixtape DJ, And like I said, that's just one out of maybe 45 awards. And now here I am, 23, 24 years later, still in the game, still swinging for the fences every day, still making plays, still making moves, still winning awards, still on radio. Shout out to 104.5 in Fayetteville. Still DJing at clubs and music festivals. And, now I'm more so on the education side of things. I have a music business class called the Foundation of Music, where I teach artists, artists, DJs, producers, managers, indie record label owners. I teach them all the ins and outs of the music business, because one of the things that I've seen in my 23 years and being in the business is artists will start out broke, get bread, and they end up broke. We talking about millions of records sold, millions of dollars made, and they still end up broke later on. And that's by design. That's not because artists are stupid or people are greedy, even though that does play a little bit of a role in it. But the game is set up to be deceptive. The contracts are set up to be deceptive. And just helping them navigate through this tricky music industry, is a blessing. And it really has given me renewed vigor in the music business. Being able to go on these college campuses like South Carolina State and Benedict and Livingstone College and teach the young kids who are in college about the music business and go around to these community centers and these youth centers and teach about the music business, because it's a lucrative business. This is one of the most lucrative businesses that there is in the world, and it's an industry that is continuously growing. Music will always be here in some way, shape, or form.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, thank you for
No,
sharing.
sorry for that long introduction, but I had to outdo Dick James, man.
No,
I had to outdo
no,
Dick James.
no, sorries or apologies accepted.
Right, right. No, we needed that. We needed that small little fragment that you gave us to the big legacy that you're building and working on.
Gotcha.
Yes, sir. This is kind of a two-part question, and I'm gonna pass it to one of my brothers. Through your journey starting out, you said you were an artist. You started out broke, as most of us do, or most have. And then you moved up radio. You're working behind the scenes, start cutting commercials, and you got into buying some equipment, learning the game, start DJing, and then 7,008 units a month shipping out. The first part of the question is, when did you realize, or what was that moment that showed you you weren't going to be working a job anymore? What was that experience like for you? And then the second part of it, well, I'll let you answer that part.
Okay, yeah. So, one of the things that I really, really pride myself on, just outside of the music, in general, is helping people build their businesses. So many times, my career is focused on the music, but my career has also gone past the music. I help people set up businesses, and it all started with just the music. I help people set up all types of businesses: barbershops, dog breeding businesses, lashes, and trucking companies, and esthetician businesses, and shoe resellers, and I mean the list goes on and on and on. Over the last, I would say 7-8 years, I've helped people start anywhere between 200 and 300 businesses. And this is just me personally. And it all started from my music business class. In my music business class on day one, I teach artists, DJs, producers, indie record label owners. I teach them how to set up their business and format their business. I teach them about business credit. I teach them about, just basic bookkeeping and taxes, helping them get their LLC, EIN number, DUNS number, all that other stuff. And so many artists would come to me and say, hey, look, I have a mobile detailing business, or I have a barbershop I want to start, or my wife or my girl, she does lashes. We want to move her from out of the living room and out of the kitchen and into a shop, but we got to get legal first. Is the same stuff that you teach us how to do in our music business class, does that apply to any business? And I started thinking, I'm like, yeah, it applies to any business. Teaching about trademarks, because every business needs to have their name and their logo trademark, and just setting up your taxes and in the bookkeeping and all of that really took me from really just helping artists and people who want to be in the music industry set up their businesses to helping people who are outside of the music industry set up their businesses. And that's a question. The question you asked is a question that I get a lot. Like, how do I know when it's time to quit my job and pursue what I'm doing full time? How do I know when to just completely say, fuck clocking in and put all my time and attention into myself? And I always answer that question the same way every time. And this is from my personal experiences. You know when to quit your job when your job gets in the way of your passion or your hustle. All right. That's when I knew it was time to quit my jobs. Whenever, and you got to think, I mean, all of us about the same age. So back then, minimum wage was $5.15 an hour. If I'm not mistaken, minimum wage was like $5.15, $5.75 an hour, somewhere around there. And when I was getting booked to do parties and to do events, and I'm getting paid $350, $400 a party, and I'm doing 3 parties a week, and then I got to wake up in the morning and go to the mall or go to my place of business and make $5.15 an hour, and I'm dead ass fucking tired, because I didn't get in until 3, 4 in the morning. Now I got to be to the mall to open up the shop at 9, And even when it came time for me to get off work, sometimes I used to have to be to the club 9:30, 10 o'clock but the mall closed at 9. If you got to close the store, by the time you get out the store, it's 9:30, 9:45. Now I got to rush to the club to get there and set up. Once all of that started really hindering my paper, as far as the DJ Chuck T paper, that's when I knew it was time to quit my job. When my hustle or my passion started bringing me in more money than my job, and my job started getting in the way of me getting to that bread, that's when I knew it was time to stop. So many people quit their job too early. You know what I'm saying? Your job is a source of income. You take that money and you put that money into your passion. You know, a lot of people try to start businesses with no fucking bread. How you gonna start a business with no bread? How you gonna run a business with no bread? You got to pay for products. You got to pay for marketing, promotion. If you offer a service, you got to pay for raw materials. You got to pay for gas and vehicle maintenance. You know, you got to pay for your clippers. You got to pay for your supplies, your equipment. If you got booth rent, you got to pay for booth rent. You got to pay for space rent. You got to pay. You got all this shit you got to pay for. You know what I'm saying? And your job is what's going to fund that. So you never want to quit your job. And I tell this because it's wild that people, you know, hop out here and quit their job before they even got their business off the ground. That's the wildest thing to me. But in just my experiences, that's when you know it's time to quit. Whenever you know your job is getting in the way of you actually getting some real paper. You know what I'm saying? We're not talking about emotions like, oh, I hate my job, I hate my boss. My boss cursed me out today. Fuck all this shit. Yada. Yeah, no. You may have to sit around and deal with it. But when you got an appointment that's gonna make you $150 or $100, but then that whole 8 hours at work ain't about to make you but $100, then it's in the way.
Right. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you for that. I'm going to go ahead and pass it to DJ Despair and let him chop it up with you and build on that. DJ Despair.
So, yeah, I've been following your career for a long time now.
Appreciate it.
Abs with certain artists in Carolina. And I worked with a lot of people out there in the Nerve DJs and all stuff. And I've been watching you with the mixtape game. Our mixtapes have crossed a lot on different platforms from
Gotcha.
You know, when we were on mixtape torrent sites and all that stuff and everything.
Yeah, that was way back in the day.
How'd you feel? Remember we were file sharing at one point with music.
Yeah.
We had a little thing online. And, you know, from growing from physical mixtapes to digital stuff, how did you feel about the transition switching over to that?
It was less work because, you know, I duplicate and print my own CDs. So I used to, from the rooter to the tutor, it used to be all me. I used to put the mixtapes together, host them, produce them, you know, duplicate them, package them up, ship them out, everything, all solo dolo. So moving from digital to physical was less work, but it was less money because it was less work. You know what I'm saying? So many people complain about digital, and I'm like, bro, how much money do you feel like you should be getting from hitting a fucking button all day? That's all you're doing is hitting the button, bow, and posting. How much money do you feel like you should be getting from that? So, you know, I was able to sort of just see, because I've always been tech savvy, so I always saw where the game was going. I always knew that at some point it was going to go all digital. And you just got to be able to roll with those punches. You got to be able to adjust. You got to be able to pivot. And you got to stay up. You got to stay ahead of the curve. You know, my money hasn't hurt, or my money hasn't been hurt. My income hasn't been cut in any way, shape, or form because of the switch from physical to digital, because I was right there on top of it. I didn't try to fight it. I didn't try to resist. I saw where it was going. And it's the same thing with AI. I see where it's going. I stay up on it. And I use it to my advantage. And you got to do the same, you know?
So I've been posting a lot. And before we even knew you were going to be on this, I posted your post where you were talking about how it's not a DJ's job to break your records.
Yep.
And from time that I've been around the scene with you, I had P Nice, aka Ugly Money Meesh, host a mixtape go, and when he was in his rap career, you and I were one of the ones who was actually pushing him. I think it was you who put me onto him actually years ago.
May have been, yep, may have been.
So, and you got to look at 20 years in the making of all this. A lot of people never understood that. When I watched him make his transition from being an artist to actually being an entrepreneur, promoting artists and shooting film and all that stuff, and then I was watching you sit there and when you said that straight up, and I saw P Nice saying, if you don't get Chuck T on your networks, you're not doing anything. You got to get this guy on there. And I was so excited to see, because I posted that post and I got hit. Oh, that's payola. Oh, that's this and that. I go, it's not payola when we own the platforms. And
then not just that, but you got to remember, people are so triggered nowadays whenever it comes to spending money, because just in general, the hip hop industry, in my opinion, the hip hop industry is one of the few industries where people feel like, you're supposed to invest $0 and make millions. I don't know any other industry where people go into that industry thinking that you're about to make millions with zero investment. And they were just so triggered about the fact that I specifically said it is not a DJ's job to rub y'all nigga nuts and do what the fuck y'all want us to do, that they were hurt by it. You know what I'm saying? But remember, the first words out my mouth were, when a DJ breaks records, it's for the love. It's for the courtesy. We do that for the culture.
Yes.
Before I even brought up it being our job. Because in order for it to be your job, we got to get paid. Then it becomes a job. But whenever it comes time for a DJ, in my opinion, for a DJ to have his own motion, have his own grind, have his own money, have his own paper, and make his own decisions, everybody feels, like that's a bad thing. Because when I tell y'all that it's a courtesy and it's something we do out of love, that means now you actually have to come and build a relationship with us. You see what I'm saying? That means now you got to come and you got to fuck with us on more than just the surface level. And then we got to like your records. A lot of artists, they don't like when the nigga don't like they shit.
Right.
So
sensitive.
That triggered them. When I said, as a DJ, if we break a record or if we choose to break records, we do that for love. We do that as a courtesy to the artist or their label. We do that out of respect for the culture. All right? We do it because we want to. All right? These niggas use that, it's a DJ's job to break records. They use that as reverse psychology, and they try to gaslight us into doing it for them for free.
So
that's really what it is. If you tell somebody it's their job, then all of a sudden they're going to feel obligated to break your record. But that's not how the game goes, bro. That's not how it goes.
So the funniest part about that, an artist posted up, so what if we don't give you the records? What are you going to do? Make them.
Yeah, we make them ourselves.
You see, that's the funniest part about it.
I seen an artist say that, if we don't make the records, what a DJ is going to do. Bruh, it's a proven fact. All right, this is fact. This is not fiction. Like Dick James said, we ain't in this bitch with no opinions today. It's all facts. All right, it is a fact that catalog records are what is keeping the music business afloat. None of this new shit is keeping the music business afloat. It's catalog. It's stuff that came out 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 50, 70, 80 years ago. That's keeping this music business afloat. These new records, they here today, gone to motherfucking tomorrow. We are in a social media quick fix type of industry. We are in a microwave industry. Them records 20, 30 years old is what's keeping this shit going. So if niggas was to stop making music today, you say, I seen where he said, what if we were to not give y'all shit? So I just did a whole party last week where I didn't play anything but records from 98, 97 to 2015. Probably no, because we in 2025. I'm talking about 2010. All I played was Pastor Troy, 3-6 Mafia, T.I., you know what I'm saying? Trick Daddy. That's all I did. Lil Jon and the East Side Boys, Crime Mob. I did a whole 3-hour party, and that's all I played. And niggas went fucking crazy. And niggas paid $35 to $50 to get in that motherfucker.
And then
You know what I'm saying? Wasn't no
with
free
no
before
drama,
midnight.
none of that. Thank you.
Yeah,
They
it
know
wasn't
how
no
to
free
act.
before midnight. Wasn't no half off bottles. Wasn't nothing. They didn't have to do nothing crazy or extra to get people in that club. It was everybody in that bitch 35 and up, and we motherfucking partied off of the shit that we partied off of when we was kids. That's it. And then there was some 27s, 26s. There was some of them in there too, because they love that knuck if you buck. Artists like Boosie, people who are 24, 25 love Boosie. Set it off, come in the club, all the YNs shaking their dreads and throwing up gang signs. We don't need none of that new shit.
Period.
We see that what I noticed now in the game is in the same process, a lot of these artists that you just talked about, they all got new music. Everybody's got stuff up right now. But are you paying attention to it? Because look at 50. 50's got so much new music. He just dropped a new track not too long ago, but he's still on stage singing in the club.
Exactly. Catalog.
You know, like it's like, you know, it's even some of the artists that's collabed with a lot of these guys, they still have to do the hits. They can't bring, like Lloyd Banks. He's still got to do those hits because his catalog is long. And I like Lloyd Banks' underground music and stuff, but it's not hitting that mainstream crowd. Like
exactly.
And then when you got artists these days, can you elaborate on marketing and actually putting your music in the right hands, DJ packs, and making sure we actually get the right thing to promote?
So those are two totally different things, but I want to touch on them both. Let's start with making sure the DJs have your music. How can we play your music if we don't have it? All right? How can I break your record if I don't have your record? You know, that's why I stress to artists, you can't just use YouTube and SoundCloud as a way to push your music to DJs. Like, I don't fucking get it. You know, like, I don't see it. And they always talk about how DJs ain't playing their record, DJs ain't breaking their record. I done had so many artists come to me in the club, hey, DJ, man, you want to give me a spin tonight? Well, I got $100 for you. I'm like, cool, email me the record. They like, I got the Apple Music link. No, nigga. How do you not, even with the radio, with me being on radio, artists come to me all the time and want to get their music played on the radio. I'm like, all right, bro, send me the clean version. I ain't got one. Well, what the fuck? All right, what the fuck? What am I supposed to do, my nigga? You don't have a DJ pack, clean, dirty instrumental. You can't email me the record. You telling me go get it off YouTube. You telling me go get it off Apple Music. I'm already DJing, bro. I'm not about to log on to my Wi-Fi, lose my place in my mix to go download your record, and I may download a virus off of that motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? It just baffles me that here we are in 2026 and artists still are lost. And it's almost like they're regressing. This is stuff that people knew in the 90s and the 2000s when I was rapping that you got to go to record pools and put your music in these record pools and these DJ pools so the DJs at least have access to it. You have DigiWax. You have beat well, I use DigiWax all the time. I use Sasana, I use Innovator, or it's recordpools.com. Sasana is now recordpools.com. I'm registered with New Music Server. I get music from there. You got Big Dog Pit Bulls, you got Vertigo. Man, there's at least 10 to 15 sites where you need to be getting your music from. ATL Top 20 blasts out records. I blast out records from my digital record pool, spinmyhit.com. These are the way that you get in contact with 1,000 DJs at one time. DJs always need to make sure that they stay up to date with new music. But if your music ain't in those pools, then we're not about to stay up to date with it. All right. Now we will search for a record if we have enough people request that record, but you got to get to that first. All right. You got to get to that first. But yeah, it baffles me that artists still are trying to send us YouTube links whenever it's time to get their records played. That is wild to me. And they have marketing. When we talk about marketing, I feel like it's important that people understand the difference between advertising, marketing, and promotion. Because a lot of times nobody bothers to explain it or break it down. So nobody really even knows the difference between the three. Promotion is just letting somebody know you exist. All right, letting somebody know that you have a product. You know what I'm saying? That's just it. So I tell these artists, when y'all take y'all pictures holding up y'all jewelry or holding up money, things of that nature, that's promotion. That's letting people know you exist. All right. Then you have advertising. Advertising is letting somebody know that you actually have a product or a service. All right. It's not just you. It's a product or a service as well. So that's advertising. So that same post with you holding up money, holding up your jewelry. All right. Now you want to hold up a copy of your mixtape. New mixtape out right now. You know what I'm saying? Or I got Beats for the Low right now on BeatStars. Or I got a mobile detailing business. I'm gonna get you just as clean as my jewelry. You know what I'm saying? Those are different ways, to advertise. So you have promotion, which is simply just letting people know you're there. Advertising, which is simply just letting people know you are there and you have a product or a service. Marketing is how am I going to sell this shit? All right. I literally just made a post spreading money out. So I'm here. I just promoted myself. Then I said I got a new album out, album on the way, beats on the way. All right. So now I'm advertising. I let people know I have something that I'm advertising. Now I need to know how I'm going to sell it. All right. Marketing is how you going to sell that shit. All right. I hold up the money. I let you know I got a new album out. And now I'm letting you know first 50 people to go online and buy it, not stream it. I'm going to give you a special shout out. I'm going to give you a ticket to my new show. And if you buy a physical copy, I'll autograph it. All right. That's marketing. Or, I have a concert coming up. First 50 people get 25% off. That's marketing. You know what I'm saying? Marketing is how we going to sell this shit. All right. Most people stop at the promotion and the advertising. They don't even get in the marketing. Marketing is how we going to get bread off this motherfucker. That's what people need to think whenever they think about marketing, advertising, and promotion. Like I said, most people promote. They're going to take a picture in their brand new outfit. You're going to know they there. All right. They're going to say, hey, brand new album out now. Go run them numbers up. They're going to let you know that. But when now it comes time to actually get bread off this shit, they don't know how to do it. All right. What new are you bringing to the table? What creative are you bringing to the table to drive people to actually buy your music? These women, all they do is post ass and titties all day. Album out now. That's not enough. All right. That ain't enough. Posting your ass and titties ain't gonna make me go buy that motherfucker or go listen. I need to have a reason to go listen. Tell me, hey, yep, song number 3 on the album I made for all my real niggas in the game who got people locked up behind the walls. If you got somebody locked up, look, go listen to number 3. That's my dedication to everybody locked up. Or number 7 on the album is for all my single mothers. If you a single mother, this gonna be your new anthem. Go listen to the album. That's marketing. That's driving people to actually go spend that bread. Why should I spend money with you? What am I gonna get when I spend money with you? You know what I'm saying? And then marketing is also retention, finding those people who've already spent that money and then finding a way to keep them coming back. You know what I'm saying? For all my returning customers, I got 15% off. All right, your first 2 purchases, going to be for 15% off. That third purchase going to be for 50% off. All right, I got front row tickets for you to the next show for anybody who can show me they done bought 3 albums of mine. That's how we keep people engaged and keep people in. But, I teach all that in my music business class. I just gave people watching this show a free lesson, man.
You see, we
It's one
say
of the
this.
jewels we do, baby. We bless people on a regular.
We on here, we say this all the time, and I just wanted to hear from another DJ's perspective, because when we speak on it, and we were talking about this earlier, some people don't know the difference between confidence in you promoting and selling your product and having ego. So there's a lot of people think, oh, you have an ego because you talk about what you do. If I don't talk about what I do, you tell me McDonald's got an ego every time they put out a new burger? You know what I mean?
Look, and they be quick to say, in a taste test against Burger King, the Big Mac was voted 5-1 as the best burger. They be quick to say shit like that.
Right. But you see, that's the thing in this industry. What I get sad of is that a lot of artists feel privileged enough that they haven't even stepped out of their own city, let alone traveled anywhere, or even had been on a charting network, or even got their business registered, or even got their ass capped. But they got their music on Spotify and iTunes and all that stuff. But on another note, we'll get people to start going to the schools and listening to you and DJs like us, because I'm doing the same thing you're doing out here, and I want to work with you more on that level, because this needs to spread it out, because people don't get the awareness. Like, we built a platform, and I shout out to Slate Stone and Dick James, who are actually artists also. And people don't seem to understand how hard it takes to go and build a platform, build stuff so you could actually advertise yourself.
They think this shit easy. The music business has one of the highest fail rates ever out of any other business besides maybe the restaurant business. Right. But outside of the restaurant business, you're gonna fail at music. There's easily like a 80, I think it's like an 80% fail rate for music. You know what I'm saying? And they judge success based off of, can you pay your bills comfortably every month off of your music? That's what they judge it off of. If you're successful, you can pay your bills comfortably every month off of it.
Absolutely.
True. All right. Well, thank you, man. I really appreciate the knowledge you just
Man, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Hey,
Nick James.
Yeah, I mean, throughout your entire illustrious career, you have always shown steady growth. So let's go back in time a little bit. Like, the first artist that you actually can say you registered and you actually helped them gain a form of momentum and their first form of success. Who would be that first artist?
Boy, man, we would have to go back down to Charleston and go with like the Chucktown legends, like the Marley Marl and the Mr. Taylors. You know what I'm saying? Just from a local level, everybody always wants to know, what somebody has done on a major level. Now, I need to know what you done did in your hometown. I need to know what you've done in your state. All right, before you come to me, I need to make sure that you done put in that work back home on the ground level. So when we start talking about, the first artist that I worked with who got traction and success, we got to take it back to Charleston, and we got to go back to like I said, Marley Marl, Mr. Taylor, Fat Boy. These were the artists that I had coming with me out of town to the Ozone Awards and to the Southern Entertainment Awards. We getting them nominated for awards. I'm putting them in rooms with people, who can actually hear that Geechee accent, hear that real Geechee sound, and be like, whoa, okay, this is something new. I ain't never heard this. Okay, this right here is dope. We may be able to do something with this. All right. Absolutely. People mainly look at me and they see Young Dolph, they see the Baby, but there was moves being made way before then.
Absolutely. That's how we got to where we at. I wanted to go like halfway in on another artist that you would show a lot of favor to, that is from the Carolinas, that you and a few other partners came together collectively and helped them get a name, like Lil Rue.
Lil Rue, yep. I knew that's where you was gonna go. I felt it. Yeah, everybody got behind Lil Rue. Lil Rue was a collective effort, and we all pushed because we saw the importance of having an artist from the Carolinas with some type of national recognition, mainly South Carolina, get some national recognition. We are only, and I stress this to people in the music industry, and they don't get it because they've never been to the mountaintop like me, but you only gonna get as far as your biggest artist, your biggest producer, and your biggest DJ. All right. Everybody's out here scrambling to be number one. All right. But what they don't understand is number one typically doesn't reap all of the benefits that number 2, 3, and 4 had. Number one and maybe number two, they're mainly the trailblazers. They're the pioneers. They're the guinea pigs. They're the ones that get tested. All right. They're the ones that get experimented on. All right. Number 3, 4, 5, and below, that's where the money come in. Because number 1 and 2 have already paid away for their ass. And number 1 and 2 done took the L's and made the sacrifices so that 3, 4, 5, and 6 can get the bread. You know? So everybody is rushing to be number 1. And what they don't see is, you know, you're missing out on the power of the collective. And when everybody gets together and everybody can push each other or choose, you know, 3 or 4 solid people to push to represent the movement. Once you get them out, the floodgates gonna open. You know what I'm saying? It happened with St. Louis. When Nelly came out, everybody from that motherfucker got signed. Fucking Jaquan, Chingy. Same thing with New York. When they cut, everybody getting signed. Same thing with Houston. When they came and they scooped up, you know, the Screwed Up Click and all them, everybody got signed. Same thing with Dallas. Same thing with Miami. Same thing with Cali, San Francisco, like Detroit. We seeing that now with Detroit. When Detroit came, boom, they got everybody from the D. You know what I'm saying? Sada Baby, T Grizzly, all them. Same thing with Chicago. When Chief Keef came, you got Dirk, you got G Herbo, you got all these C-list rappers from their area. You know what I'm saying? Who now are making money because somebody came through, kicked in the door, paid away. Right. You know? So the Carolinas got to be the same way. And mainly Charlotte, because Charlotte is one of the biggest cities in the Carolinas. You know, we got to be the ones to put the Carolinas on our back. I just saw how my stock went up when the baby blew. You know what I'm saying? When the baby blew and people saw that I was attached to that success, my stock went up. My prices went up. I had people calling me, wanting me to, you know, hey, sit down with me, big bro. I got 500 for you. Sit down with me, bro, and just help me come up with a plan like you did the baby. You know what I'm saying? Damn, big bro, boy, I seen the baby shout you out on the Breakfast Club. Man, goddamn, bro, how much is going to cost for you to sit down with me and this, that, the price is going up.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying? The price go up. When the market is big as a whole.
The value, man. You know, you built that value.
Exactly.
And from me transitioning from an artist, always having a business mind totally to a businessman. It happened in the Carolinas and Arnold.
Yeah.
He was the guy that picked me out of a lineup of a talent show, you know what I'm saying, amongst people because of originality and a lack of fear. And a work ethic. And a solid name and reputation in the community amongst other people, even though I'm not from Carolina. I had been there so long that people had just swore them down. I was from Columbia.
Yeah, that was where you from.
Tell them no different. Yeah, I mean, I might as well have been because I lived in Columbia longer than I lived where I'm actually from. So I give a lot of graces to the Carolinas, period. I don't separate them. The government and the colonizers did that. It's all the same. It's just that South Carolina, to me, it's a little more grittier because of history, but it has a more dedicated grind. North Carolina is more of a mimicking of the East Coast, New York, Philly, Jersey, and, you know, when it comes to hip hop and music making, yet it is the standard because the whole entire Carolinas as a whole is a motherfucking Mecca. Mississippi, it's a motherfucking Mecca. Texas, a motherfucking Mecca. Florida, a motherfucking Mecca. Georgia. Pretty much all of its own territories are Meccas. Some of them that's a little later than others coming to, you know, the table. But the Carolinas has always been that Mecca, man. Rest in peace to Angie Stone, man.
Definitely.
Shout out to Hootie and the Blowfish, man. Darren them, man.
Yeah, Darius Rucker. Hell yeah.
it's hard to outdo that type of status musically, man, because all that stuff is original.
No,
And
you're right.
you represent that, Chuck. Charlemagne, shout out to Charlemagne, man. I mean, when you witness movements, you can't do nothing, or you shouldn't do anything but just respect them.
For real.
And when you have the ability and a moment to give them flowers, go ahead and give them to them, because you guys all come from that era, that time, and you guys paved the way for Carolinas in this new day and age. So
Man,
pat yourself
appreciate
on
it,
the
bro.
back, bro. Yeah, pat yourself on the
Appreciate it.
back.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you.
sir. I didn't even have to say the baby. I mean, it's like it led to that.
Wait,
And
hold
it,
on.
Exactly. Yeah.
It was Big Baby Jesus before till you got
yeah,
to.
doo-doo diaper, baby.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah, yeah,
saying?
yeah. It was baby Jesus. Yep. It was baby Jesus. Yep.
Yeah. And we were out there at South by Southwest with him because we were doing the promotions on the street grind. During the time, I got footage and it was mind blowing, but there he was right there, boom. And the next thing you know, BT
Yo, that was
Awards
the
right
best.
before the pandemic, winning all the awards, and there, our brother Arnold. And Arnold is my mentor, man. Arnold and AJ and Jay
Definitely.
Jackson.
Hell yeah. Shout out to both of them.
Absolutely. And shout out to the ones who are from New Jersey, Philly, and so forth and so forth, but their roots stem from the Carolinas, like Big Bug. You know what I'm saying? Master Killer.
So,
Hmm.
whose idea was it for him to wear the diaper?
That was his idea.
And
Yeah,
how
he
you?
came up with that. Because everybody at South by Southwest was sort of just doing the same thing. You have 1,000 artists out there on the strip, and everybody is just doing the same thing, passing out CDs, posters, flyers. They got the banners, they got the big picket signs, and everybody is just walking up and down the strip doing the same thing, performing at different showcases and all that. You know what I'm saying? And it's literally the same thing. So he had to figure out a way to stand out amongst the crowd. And shit, he came up with the diaper situation, and most of the people said no. Who he asked, or not even asked. He didn't even ask nobody. He told people what he was gonna do. Right? Most people advised against it, and that nigga, and this is a true story. He one of my peoples said that he told him what he was gonna do. They advised against it. They didn't think he was going to do it. Then that morning, when they went to go get in the van to go out on the strip, he had the diaper on. And I guess somebody gave him a look, and he said, "Hey, look, bro, this what's happening. If you don't like it, you can stay here, my nigga, but we going out on the strip to make this shit pop. So what you going to do?" And he said he thought about it, and he was like, "Fuck it, I'm down. This what we going to do. We going to do it together." And a lot of artists don't have that resolve to tell people this is what we gonna do, and if you don't like it, you can leave. And then a lot of people who are part of the entourage and who are part of the team and who are part of the crew, they don't see the vision enough to say, "Hey, look, I'm down whether this shit work or not." You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's just his whole entire career is just a testament of artists, the CEO, the co-CEO, the promotions director, the label in general, the engineers, the producers, the DJs, just everybody being on the same page and seeing the vision and seeing the movement and pushing, all right, as a collective.
Absolutely. They stole the show out there in Austin. I mean,
he did.
It probably
Look,
was
he got some
100,000.
good reviews and some bad reviews, but it turned out to be the best thing for him.
It brought
because
all
out
the
of
attention.
everybody who was down there, like, who stood out? He the only nigga that stood out.
That's the whole entire message, because, like I said, we had the street team promotions. Rest in peace to my cousin Mike Ellis. You remember Fat Mike?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
We had the street team promotions, but we also had at the time Ty Dolla $ign, and we had the renovation of Kevin Gates, a young Kevin Gates transitioning. They still got their momentums, But his momentum was the one that superseded everything and everybody from that point going forward. He had to drop the name Baby Jesus. He had to drop the Jesus from the name and the doo-doo diaper. But from that point, everything was up. And Arnold didn't even tell me. He just assumed that I knew. And then we talked and I was like, yeah, phenomenal move, man. And it's been up since then. But you had to attribute Chuck T being associated with that because Chuck T is the king. I mean, the modern day king. Nobody else has done anything from this point or that point to where we are now that supersedes what Chuck set out to do and what Chuck accomplished, man. So, yeah, bro, you King Chuck, man. Go on, get your hat. Go on, do like you
Man,
say you gonna do.
look, I appreciate it. I
Get that
appreciate it.
brandy.
Thank you.
Yeah, get
Yo,
that
I
shot
follow your
glass.
lead every day. I follow everything you do, and since you were on the conference calls from back in the days and everything, from the DigiWax to Nerve to everything, you showed what it was like to actually stand by an artist. And a lot of people don't have that mind state, right? And you come.
That's because nowadays people they say you dick riding, they say you glazing. That's what the young kids say, glazing. They say you dick riding or you glazing, but in order for a DJ to effectively push an artist, you gotta go crazy. That's the only way. You gotta go crazy. You know, we let these artists bully us into not siding with one or two or maybe even three artists that we really, really fuck with and mashing the gas. But that's the only way you can break an artist is if multiple DJs give that artist their attention. That's the only way it happens. You cannot be a DJ and fuck with 100 different artists and think that you about to break an artist. It don't work like that. At some point, people got to see the repetition in the support. You know, people got to be able to see that artist a million times on your timeline to know that that's the one artist you believe in. That's the one artist that you feel like gonna make it. You're never gonna break an artist trying to push 20, 30 artists at one time. It just won't work. I've tried it. Others have tried it. It just won't work. And DJs got to be strong enough. And the artist got to be loyal enough as well. All right. The DJ got to be strong enough and the artist got to be loyal enough for everybody to sit down and say, look, regardless of what anybody say, we pushing. All right. DJs, I'm taking y'all niggas with me because y'all are the ones who push me the hardest. All right. And because I know that other artists is out here probably talking shit about y'all. Oh, he dick riding this nigga dick. Man, I done had people literally damn near getting fist fights in the barbershop because niggas was like, oh man, Chuck T, he be dick riding the baby. You got to be the baby to fuck with him. You got to buy him a Rolex like the baby and them in order to fuck with him. There's always some type of a jealous or just straight hater ass shit going on. Like nobody knows the process these days or realizes that that's what it takes. I had to post that nigga 5 to 6 times a week in order to make people open their eyes. I had to blast his records out. I had to sit there and repost and share and look, and he had to come places and make sure Chuck T was in the mix too, because he needed that cosign. Like he would tell me, like, damn, I went places and people was like, oh shit, you Chuck T artist. Yeah, I know you. Yeah, you Chuck T artist. He like, not really, but that's my guy. You know what I'm saying? That's my guy. You know, so, the artist got to be loyal and the DJ's got to be strong enough to deal with the backlash. But the only way you're going to break an artist, is if you push that artist consistently and constantly. And the only way you're going to be able to do that is by cutting off some of the niggas who just ain't there yet. You could be cool with them. They could be family. They could be part of the same crew. But we know who's there and who not. We know who's serious and who not. We know who worth the headache and who not. We know that shit.
Damn right. Commitment and dedication. Let's add this to what we said. The reputation. No matter how many artists you've rendered to do work with. No, there's no subject matter coming up or coming back. Chuck T screwed a nigga out his money, shitted on a motherfucker, and
Never,
you know, no funny, no foul business. And real
never.
quick, you got one of our another heavy hitter, you know, DJs down here in the Delta, Big V, you know, on live with us, man, shouting you out. You know what I'm
Okay,
saying? You
yeah,
know,
shout out to Big V
yes,
Radio,
what I'm
man.
saying. You
I
know,
ain't
it's
met Big
mutual
V in a minute.
respect. Big V
Hell
is
yeah.
he one of the phenomenal radio DJ all stars. He just got his hands full and helping so many people in the community. It's hard to get him to be active as much as he should be. But you know, I just wanted to make sure people understand that you've done a lot of different things over these years, but you've also maintained your severity and your sincerity and your reputation, man. And that is the most that's the highest attribute to me
Yeah,
because
man, your
as a
reputation
business,
is everything. You got to guard it with your life. That
as
that's
a
that's that's part of the 48 laws of power right there. That's one of the first laws that they touch on in the 48 laws of power. Your reputation is everything. Guard it with your life. You know, like I pick and choose who I address online when they say little slick shit about me. But
Mhm.
trust me, if it's anything that's gonna affect my reputation, I'm in the comments. I'm talking shit. I'm going crazy. I'm not about to let you just play with me and just let it go. Like, no, there's
Absolutely.
gonna at least be a comment from Chuck T that says, "Hey, shut your pussy ass up, lying ass nigga." You know,
Right.
there's gonna be something in there somewhere. It's just not gonna just go unnoticed and unchecked or unaddressed. You know,
Right.
now, you know, whether people believe it or not, that's on them. But yeah, no. I just don't let people play with my reputation.
You doing any mix shows or you know what I'm saying? What's happening?
1045 in Fayetteville every Friday. Yep. I'm on 1045 in Fayetteville every Friday in the Drive at 5 mix. I'm on from 5 to 6, cutting up, going crazy. They give me 100% control over the playlist for my hour, and that's why I fuck with 1045 in Fayetteville, man. Shout out to Big Lean. I've had other stations in the past, bigger stations, reach out to me, but a lot of people don't know this, man. A lot of times when you get in these positions to do these mix shows, like the station will send you 12 to 10 to 13 songs that you gotta include in your mix show. And if my mix show is an hour, that only leave me with about 10 songs to choose from. They give me 10 and then I take 10, you know, and then I can only, out of them 10 records, that only leave me with maybe 1 or 2 that I can actually break. You know, everything else got to be bangers, hits, and stuff that I've already been working.
Absolutely. That's a fair take though. I mean, because you know, you give and take in this business.
Yeah.
And the longer you be doing what you're doing now, shit, the more you're gonna be able to take along with you as you continue to grow.
Yes,
Um,
sir.
we'd like to have you to bring, you know, that old damn DJ Chuck T King Chuck Mix Show over to Phenom Radio, man, and give us some of that
Man, look,
action.
let's chop it up. Look, let's
That's
chop it up. Let's make it work. You know what I'm saying? I'm down.
yeah, we'll give you
Yep, I'm
your
down.
exclusive. We'll give you your exclusivity. We want to share you with the world, and
Perfect.
make sure you stay active with us over there at the Urban Influence.
Gotcha. Hell yeah. Well, look, I'm down, man. I'm down. I'm ready. I just had an artist who set up a meeting with me. They just got here to the studio. But man, look, whatever y'all need from me, let me know, man. You know what I'm saying? Look, I appreciate this opportunity so much.
We need you
Already,
in
bro.
Canada.
We appreciate
We need
you.
in Canada. We appreciate you, and I need you in Canada with that knowledge and everything you're doing.
Damn
Man,
right.
with that, all y'all got, I'm a phone call away. Let's do it.
We
Yes,
putting
sir.
it
All
together.
right.
Good
Salute.
love.
Appreciate y'all. Thank y'all.
Peace.
Appreciate you, man.
The most versatile hip hop radio station in the world. Phenomenal Radio.